G'day guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are here for my gather round 5 tips and predictions, and we're also going to go over my round 4 tips and predictions. Before we get into the video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on the road towards 2k subs by hopefully the end of footy season. We are currently at 1.65k subs, so let's try to get to 160 by the end of the week. Without further ado, let's just go straight into my round 4 tips and predictions. So in round 4, I got a total score of 6 out of 8 tips correct. Collingwood, Carlton, I tipped Collingwood, and I tipped them by 17 points, and I was exactly on point. Collingwood got the job done by 17 points, 63 to 46 over Carlton. On that Friday, Geelong versus Melbourne at GMHBA, I obviously tipped Geelong. Geelong got the job done by 39. On the Saturday, we had Gold Coast taking on Adelaide at People First. Gold Coast got the job done by 1, but realistically, I reckon Adelaide would have won that game. It was a rigged end towards the game. Rankin should have got paid that mark. It should have been a mark. Richmond versus Brisbane at the MCG. I tipped Brisbane. Brisbane obviously got the job done, but Richmond played very, very good footy, and especially going to the next week, they're going to look very, very strong against Freo. And then here's where I get my first incorrect tip. North Melbourne versus Sydney at Marvel Stadium. I tipped North Melbourne. Sydney got the job done by absolutely smoking North, absolutely smoking them. On the Sunday, GWS versus West Coast. I tipped GWS to get the job done at NG, and they got the job done by 81. At the Adelaide Oval, St Kilda pulling off an upset of a lifetime against Port. Haven't seen that in I don't know how long. And Freo got the job done to Western Bulldogs at Optus Stadium, and obviously Essendon and Hawthorn had their buys this week. Now, I haven't mentioned it in my previous tipping comps, but I do got a tipping comp. I do got my own tipping comp. We got about 21 people in, so I really want to try to get 30 people in, hopefully by the end of the week. So share this to people that aren't in this thing yet. We'll go through our top 3. We got Blues Premiers 2025 up the top with 34 points. Blue Moo 21 with 33 points. And Jesse using his joker this round with 32 points in. That's your top 3. I'm currently sitting 17th because of how poor I've been doing in the last couple of rounds of this season. Do want to try to get to 30 by the end of the week. So yeah, let's push for 30. Anyway, let's get straight into my gather round tips and predictions. Starting off on that Thursday, 10th of April at the Adelaide Oval, we have Adelaide taking on Geelong. Now, Adelaide obviously very, very strong as of late. They've been absolutely performing the best of their abilities as of late, Adelaide, and honestly they're a very, very big chance of making finals. They're already sitting 5th, and they should be sitting higher on that ladder, especially after they got robbed of a win in Gold Coast last week. Geelong obviously also playing very, very good brands of footy as well, getting the job done over Melbourne, but they also have been on and off. Before that win against Melbourne, they lost the last 2 games that they played, while Adelaide have been on a very, very good winning streak, winning in round 1, round 2, and round 3. Adelaide have been on an absolute roll, and to be honest, I would not be surprised if Adelaide got the job done here. Geelong do also play decent at the Adelaide Oval, and we saw that again in that qualifying final against Port Adelaide. But to be honest, I reckon we do have to go for the hometown favourites. We've got to go Adelaide to win the first game of gather round, and we'll go Adelaide by 13 points. It will be a close one, hopefully. Now, on that Friday at the Adelaide Oval, no Norwood game to start off the night. We've only got one game on the Friday night, and that's Collingwood taking on Sydney at the Adelaide Oval. Now, obviously, Collingwood, they're doing very, very well on a streak of 3. They won in opening round and they lost round 1, but they're playing very, very good footy. They're playing absolutely amazing footy, Collingwood. Dan Houston's out this week. He's on a 2-match ban for a collision that he caused in the Collingwood versus Carlton clash in round 4. Sydney have also been onto a decent start as well, getting 2 wins in a row the last 2 weeks. Yeah, Collingwood, they're looking very, very strong at the moment. They're looking very, very strong, Collingwood, and to be honest, I reckon everyone here should be tipping Collingwood in this situation. I don't think Sydney will be able to get the job done. Now, starting off to Saturday, 10:35 a.m. at Barossa Park. Well, obviously this is 12:35 p.m. for Victorians and also in the graphic. at Barossa Park, a new ground for our gather round. They've got rid of the hills, brought in the Barossa Park. First AFL game at Barossa Park. I honestly can't wait to watch this on TV, and I know lots of people can't wait to actually be at Barossa Park to watch this. We've got North Melbourne taking on Gold Coast. Now, if you think about it, this is a simple tip, but Barossa Park is a neutral ground. No one's really played it at it before, so it's going to be new to lots of teams, and honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if North Melbourne get the job done here, but Gold Coast have been playing absolutely very amazing footy as of late. The 4 wins in a row for Gold Coast, and obviously they weren't able to play opening round because of Cyclone Alfred that turned out to be absolutely nothing. North Melbourne got 1 win on the board, which was against Melbourne, and Melbourne are just a downgraded side really. They're not really too good at the moment. Honestly, the logical answer could be Gold Coast, and Gold Coast just play a better brand of footy, to be honest. They're doing so well. They're third on the ladder, Gold Coast. I reckon we just really do have to tip Gold Coast in this situation. Yeah, North Melbourne, they're probably not going to play the best of their ability in this game. Not that I believe so. Now at 1:20 p.m. Victorian time at the Adelaide Oval, we have Carlton taking on West Coast. Now, before going into the West Coast game, which was last week in round 4, this game was set to be one of the blockbuster games of the ground. Carlton and West Coast, the winless teams in the comp. They're both 0-4. They're both 0-4 at the moment. Carlton do play better footy in the first half. West Coast, I've not seen them play good footy in all 4 quarters of every single game, except for the 2 quarters against Brisbane. That's the only 2 quarters that we have played well in. But yeah, honestly, wouldn't be shocked if Carlton get the job done, but I really have a feeling West Coast could get the job done here. Really do have a feeling West Coast could get the job done. We do actually kind of play decent at the Adelaide Oval, obviously when we're not playing Adelaide or Port Adelaide, because those crowds, oh my god, the Adelaide and Port crowd, they just ruined the game for us, can't lie. But yeah, honestly, I feel like I have to tip my own team. here. I'm going to go West Coast to win this game against Carlton. That might be a regret. Now, this one's probably going to be a blockbuster game. At 4:15 at Norwood Oval, Western Bulldogs taking on Brisbane. Brisbane are currently on a little bit of a premiership hangover, cannot lie. They won by 28 against Richmond, who Richmond is supposed to be a very bad side this year. They won by 19 against West Coast. West Coast are a horrible side at the moment. Western Bulldogs just lost towards the Fremantle Dockers, and they really did have a big chance to probably get the job done, to be honest, but they just had a very poor second quarter to end of the second quarter, to be honest, and they just let Fremantle take out the whole game, really. Yeah, honestly, I really feel like Brisbane will get the job done here. Brisbane have played at Norwood more times than Western Bulldogs. Western Bulldogs haven't really got the feel of the Norwood deck before, so I really do think you have to go Brisbane here. Brisbane have played at Norwood a couple of times now. I think they've played it at once. Western Bulldogs says 0 at Norwood, so yeah, I reckon we do have to go Brisbane out at Norwood, because Brisbane got the more knowledge and experience of the Norwood deck. Alright, taking out the night game at the Adelaide Oval, we have Melbourne taking on Essendon. Now, they have this as a blockbuster game, and honestly, I do see this being a blockbuster game, to be honest. Obviously, last time these teams played at the Adelaide Oval, in gather round as well, actually, was a absolute domination. Not really domination, but Essendon got the job done by 27 at the Adelaide Oval, and to be honest, it could repeat again, let's be real. Obviously, Melbourne are winless at the moment. They're not playing the best brand of footy. Every single game they've played, they've either been flogged or they lost in a close one, which the only loss that they've lost in a close one was against GWS at the MCG, of course, and then they lost to North Melbourne by, I believe it was 59. They lost to Gold Coast at the G by 58, and they lost to Geelong at GMHBA by 39. Geelong are just playing Geelong are playing absolutely great, good footy, but Melbourne are just absolutely shocking at the moment. Essendon obviously got their first win of the season in round 3 against Port Adelaide, winning by 12. I feel like we have to go Essendon here. I really feel like we have to go Essendon. Alrighty, now moving on to the Sunday at 12:35 p.m. again at Barossa Park. Richmond taking on Fremantle. Now, Richmond, they put up a good performance against the bloody reigning premiers, but obviously the reigning premiers, they're not really playing good footy at the moment. They're having a little bit of a premiership hangover, but they're still getting wins. The last time these clubs played together was at Optus Stadium in round 17, and Fremantle got the job done by 51 points. Fremantle got 2 wins on the board now, obviously just beat Western Bulldogs. And they also got the job done over West Coast in Derby 60. Richmond have only got one win this year, and that was against Carlton in round 1. But ever since then, they've got basically flogged every single match. And then they put up a fight against the reigning premiers at the G. I really do feel like we have to go Fremantle though. I really do feel like we have to go Fremantle. Fremantle are just a better side on paper, really. Their midfield is just going to not be... And Richmond's midfield's not going to be able to beat out Fremantle's midfield. Brayshaw's in absolute amazing form. Sarong, generally one of the top 5, I reckon, for the Brownlow at the moment. I reckon we do have to go Fremantle in this situation. But St Kilda taking on GWS. Now, GWS, obviously, they're playing absolutely amazing footy. Last time these clubs played against each other was the round after a gather round in 2024, and GWS ended up getting the job done by 1 point over the St Kilda Saints. Obviously, St Kilda are on an absolute roll at the moment. Getting the job done over Geelong, who are playing absolutely amazing footy, by 7 points, absolutely smoked Richmond and just beat Port for the first time in I don't know how long. I haven't seen St Kilda beat Port probably in my lifetime. They got the job done over Collingwood. They got the job done over Melbourne by 3. And they just got the job done over West Coast by 81. Yeah, St Kilda got the job done last time at Norwood, and honestly, we do really just have to go Norwood, St Kilda again. I reckon St Kilda just better at Norwood, to be honest. Okay, and to round off gather round, Port Adelaide taking on Hawthorn. Using the Ken Hinkley, Jack Ginnivan situation from last year to finish off gather round is going to absolutely be super, super good. Obviously, Port Adelaide home deck. They did just lose to St Kilda at their home deck for the first time, and yeah, as I just said for St Kilda then, first time in I don't know how long. I've never seen Port Adelaide lose to St Kilda in my life. Hawthorn are currently on a very, very big winning streak. I do not believe they've lost a game, and they surely can't lose their first game to Port Adelaide, who have only got 1 win, and that's against one of the worst sides in the comp. Port Adelaide aren't really playing the best footy, to be honest, this year. Yeah, so I'm going to keep that sentence short, and we're going to go with Hawthorn to win this game. It's really a no-brainer. It's a 4-0 to 1-3, so yeah, we really just have to go Hawthorn here. Hawthorn playing the better brand of footy, very fast-paced game, which is what the AFL needs these days, and that's what gets wins these days, just fast-paced footy. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.